Hello and welcome to the EON Reality Tourism webinar. My name is Rick Furry. I'm on the business development team at EON here based in our headquarters in Irvine, California. My responsibility entails business development in the west coast of the United States, as well as many of our efforts into Latin America, including Central America and the Caribbean. But today we're going to be doing a tourism webinar focused on how virtual and augmented reality apply to this industry. This is part of a larger series of webinars that EON is doing, focused in some of our main segments, which include healthcare, industry like energy, manufacturing, and even some edutainment areas that we focus in, to name a few. To begin today, though, I want to just talk about briefly back up and kind of define what these two technologies are. They're often get confused or misconstrued. So to start out with virtual reality is going to actually take individuals or a group of individuals out of their existing environment using things like immersive displays like the EON iCube we have here, or some of the newer systems like glasses, virtual reality goggles like Oculus or HTC Vive, and even down to the mobile phone. On the other side, augmented reality is going to enhance our existing environment. So adding contextual data or adding models to what you see in an environment around you. So whether that's using glasses like you see here, or in some cases, we use tablets and phones. So that's kind of defining what these two things are. You know, oftentimes today you're hearing a lot about the investment in glasses and some of the newer technologies, but EON has been doing this for quite a while. We'll talk about what EON's doing, and we do publish to a multitude of displays. So backing up to talk about EON Reality, we've been around for over 17 years now and become the world leader for VR and AR-based knowledge transfer. And what we really focus on in terms of segments is industry, education, and edutainment. So during our 17 years, we've worked with over 450 industry customers, over 400 academic organizations, and we've had over 55 government partners globally. We've been recognized by a number of news outlets as the world leader for knowledge transfer in virtual and augmented reality. And we really follow 4 Ps. Our purpose, we're driven by our belief that knowledge is a human right, and we have goals to make it available, affordable, and accessible for everyone on the planet. And how we do that is through our people. We have interactive digital centers globally, which we'll talk about, but in short, really empower a local region, country to create and develop and support their region for these types of virtual augmented reality content and solutions. Next, we have products. So we'll talk about a few products today. Obviously focused more on the tourism side, so we'll target how these technologies can really help this industry of tourism. And then we have a number of programs around the world, a couple of which we'll talk about today is the EON Learn for Life program and the Smart Worker, Smart Nation program. So how we execute this vision. We have our end-to-end solution, which we'll talk about briefly. We have an unmatched global reach of over 22 locations, way closer to 30 by the end of this year. Because of those geographical locations, we're able to dominate the market and work with governments and industry customers, academic institutions around the world. And because of this, and because of our library of over 8,000 applications, we're able to have reached 40 million viewers to date. So just very briefly, the end-to-end solution. So we have our core development tools, EON Professional, EON Studio, EON SDK. We have additional modules in the AVR Cloud platform, which we'll go into today, making these things easier for individuals or companies with little to no programming knowledge, and being able to publish different applications in these segments primarily to our different integrated systems. So while EON does not manufacture any hardware, we partner with best in class and integrate those solutions to roll out a turnkey package to a given customer. So going into the Interactive Digital Center, and what this really entails is four things. First is a VR AR school, where we attract on average about 100 students per year in a region to teach them how to be experts in creating virtual augmented reality content. So everything they need to know, from the modeling to the programming, scripting, project management, even diving into some entrepreneurial studies. So we have that component. From there, we have a content factory where we're not producing cars or any hardware. We're actually encapsulating knowledge. So we're encapsulating knowledge from a subject matter expert, whether that be in ophthalmology or tourism, and we create applications either for a customer or something with a partner that we can then roll out globally. So the next portion is the showroom environment, which you see a bit of what it looks like here in France, with over 30 different technologies and display formats. Also, obviously, an R&D center to help the students and the people that are working to create the content display these kinds of technologies for customers, or do testing and things like that. And the last component is a sustainable business. So at the end of the day, what we look to create is something sustainable, get a good partner in the region to create a successful IDC for years to come. The main reason we are reaching out to all these locations is because our biggest issue today is that we don't have enough talent to really execute on some of the projects that we're getting globally, and we want to stay ahead of the curve because of how rapidly the market is growing. So these are the locations we have today, and this is where we're targeting for the upcoming 2017. So now we're going to look at tourism, focusing on identifying what are the problems. So tourist organizations, as well as private companies, need to differentiate themselves from competition and from various locations. They need to tell a better story. Also, from there, they need to give a better brand experience. So again, whether that's on the private side or the public side, they need to help paint a better picture and give potential customers, potential visitors, a reason to get excited about their brand or their location. On the attraction side, these groups are struggling to attain visitors, and things. The way technology is evolving, things become lower cost, and they need to still provide that fun, engaging experience for their visitors. And then finally, giving visitors something to remember and share their journey. These customers or visitors can really become the best marketing tool for these locations or for these companies. How can you give them a way to share and remember their experience beyond what the traditional ways of the past? So in terms of our AVR solutions, we're able to allow, through virtual and augmented reality, visitors a way to be a part of the story. So as you see here in the picture above, on the left side is what you walk into and see today in Rome. On the right side is what it looked like back in the Roman Empire. So what we're doing here is using augmented reality technology to overlay images, overlay facts and things to give you a feel of immersion in the location today. This could be, again, both in virtual reality or augmented reality. In this case, at the location, you'd be seeing it in augmented reality. Virtual reality, augmented reality is very good at grabbing attention and obviously keeping attention. So the better engagement. Obviously, if you think of a flight simulator, you're not able to fall asleep or kind of doze off. You have to be engaged and immersed in what you're doing. So that's really the concept that we're applying here to the tourism industry. You're not just putting on a video and saying, watch this. You're actually putting them in a location, adding ways to interact with the environment, whether again in virtual or augmented reality, that create this better brand experience and give them something to talk about in the future. Along those lines, remembering and sharing, we can actually give different locations or even visitors tools to encapsulate their visit, or take with them what they experienced and share it with friends and family or social media through things like 360 video, virtual reality experiences, and things of that nature. So we have come up with a solution, and this is one offering that we'll talk about today, which is the EON AVR platform. So looking at our platform, it is a AVR cloud-based solution, allowing customers to run, develop, manage, access, store, host, distribute AVR applications without complexity of building and maintaining the infrastructure associated with launching these types of applications on an Android or iOS device. We also provide server software license, experience AVR, mobile content consisting of 3D objects, environments in CG or interactive 360 video. We also include the creation of new AVR content, giving you guys the tools and the ability to do that on your own or with our help. Also gaining access to our knowledge library consisting of over 8,000 applications in the area of vocational training, anatomy, biology, geography, history, physics, astronomy. And while those areas might not all be relevant to tourism, some of the building blocks may play into to having value for the customer. We also have the ability for multi-user functionality. We have a system called EON Coliseum that allows for users to be immersed and collaborate inside these types of experiences. And we do all the publishing. It also has the ability to be white labeled or customized to follow an organization's branding. We also host the content and have the ability to adapt the look and feel of that hosting service. And then we provide a deployment service as well, whether that be on-site installation or custom content work done with a certain customer. So looking at some of the key benefits to this platform is the efficiency and productivity. So the AVR and mobile framework already exists, so there's no need to in a sense, reinvent the wheel. Obviously, the value add, the focus on your development and R&D for a custom solution for you, the customize and branding ability, the ease of use, agnostic hardware support, so the ability to run this on really any hardware in the virtual and augmented reality space, as EON always is constantly adapting to the new technologies through our partnerships with the different hardware companies. It's very fast to implement, and obviously being an off-the-shelf end-to-end solution with the standard AVR platform, we can extend the development tools, the add-on modules, and the publishing to various integrated systems that we have. And then obviously the end of the day, it's cost effective. The value as a service, we can provide it as an annual license, and you are able to maintain your own platform and don't have to worry about as much development expenses that would typically come with something like this. So now let's look at some examples of tourism applications. So what we really look to do is create an experience, feeling, sensations, enable real-time feeling of presence in a location, remotely or in an actual physical location using augmented reality. You can have the ability to experience the past or even the future. And we can create these attractions, which we'll look at in just a minute here. Partners that we see, the governments, hotels, travel agencies, airlines, not really limited to those, but those are some of the areas we see are real value add. So one of the examples that we've created is a virtual tourism lounge, so a customized mobile platform for 360 videos to share your travel or resort experiences, experience a location from anywhere in the world, have multi-user environments where mobile users can interact using gaze and or a VR controller, depending on the display format. And obviously this would be one of EON's turnkey solutions that we would provide. Next is a virtual tourist attraction. So, we talked about some of the problems in tourism, in tourism to really attract and keep visitors or customers engaged. So some of the areas that we've created these attractions is with a virtual aquarium, which we'll look at, Olympic Park, AR, kind of Pokemon Go experience, and then our VR Fan Fest. And we'll look at these three examples when we look at some of EON's customers. Moving along here, we have virtual reality tours of locations. So, this could apply to a resort. Customer or visitor could tour a resort before leaving their home, check out rooms or different packages, what those things look like, and then obviously excursions, being able to explore the fun things in an area, in a location, and things that people may like to do. So moving to historical tourism applications. So as we talked about earlier, this picture gives you an idea of what those types of applications can look like. This would be more of an augmented reality sense, but really giving locations the ability to showcase historical or kind of identify the cultural importance of a site. So some examples that we've done are with Maggi Chapel in Florence. We have a interactive tour of Machu Picchu, and we've done a lot with the Colosseum and a lot in Egypt with their historical touristic group. Moving to properties and resorts. So the idea to see, try before you buy for properties. So we've done a few different applications here, which we'll look at when we jump into the customers here on the next slide. But this really, again, gives properties and resorts the ability to put the customer virtually in a location, give them an idea of what this resort or a room really looks like to increase property sales or sales on a cruise line. Can be extended to a multitude of platforms. So now let's look at some examples of some of our tourism customers around the globe and some of those applications that we've created with them. First one that I'll talk about is with FIFA at the 2014 World Cup. We were able to work with them to create a big booth on Copacabana Beach with a number of EON's technologies, ranging from some headsets all the way up to a mobile iCube, injecting FIFA 2014, the game, to give the fans in line here an experience of being immersed on the field with their favorite team. They also were able to share the experience beyond their stay in Brazil by sharing an interactive video online on social media with family and friends, which obviously increased engagement with the World Cup and specifically with FIFA. So I can share a video of that with you if it's of interest at a later time. We've also worked with groups that provide aquariums and family fun type excursions and things like that. So what we did with Parque Reundios in Hawaii was actually create a interactive aquarium in a variety of different display formats. So what you're seeing on the screen there is the EON iDome. It's a 24-person interactive 8D theater where in this case you're interacting with different sea life that may not fit in an aquarium, or obviously there's the humanitarian issues that aquariums are dealing with currently. Not even to mention some of the costs that comes or is associated with animal captivity of marine life. So just to give you an example, a dolphin can cost up to $1 million per year per animal to keep in an aquarium. So we've had some very positive results from that partnership and are extending it to a number of different parks around the world. Next is a concept we created for the Olympic Park in Rio. It kind of follows a Pokemon Go a concept where you're directed around Olympic Park to different areas, different games in both augmented and virtual reality, using a variety of EON's hardware capabilities and partnerships, but also adapting some of our content and fun edutainment applications to a much larger scale. Following that, I want to go into a historical tourism application that we created with our partner in Saudi Arabia and the Ministry of Tourism and Cultural Heritage there. It's actually a mixed reality application where you're both able to enter Nassif's house in virtual reality, but also see it and get a good perspective of what it looks like in augmented reality. And this has now been implemented in 24 major museums in Saudi Arabia, and also can be found on the Android or iOS app stores, which we can share with you to give you the ability to experience this at home or in your office. We also have done a application, again following heritage, culture, history, religion, which is a virtual journey to Hajj. Obviously, this is a very big deal for Muslims around the world, being one of their 5 pillars. A pilgrimage is, a great spiritual importance to Muslims, but obviously there's things that prohibit, people and Muslims from attending, be it cost or, health, things like that. So what we're able to do is a solution created by EON and our Saudi partner was to create a virtual experience, virtual journey, which combined both 360 videos and images with also the ability to interact and kind of work your way through at your own pace what some of the experiences you would have in this type of journey, which allows much more people to participate. And it's obviously a portable experience for Muslims around the world. We've also done a number of applications with the Ministry of Heritage in Egypt. This one specifically was one we did for King Tut. And obviously, there's no better way to experience history than to be fully immersed in the subject matter. But obviously that, there's a lot of issues that they deal with, whether it be high cost or the difficulty to preserve these things with, foot traffic and terrorism. And sometimes, you don't get that satisfying experience going to these actual sites and not being, allowed into some of the more restricted areas. So what we were able to do was, create a virtual reality experience into some of the more remote locations of King Tutankhamun's tomb that you can experience on your mobile phone in virtual reality, full 360 virtual environment. It gives you a personal view of some of the historical artifacts without having to worry about some of the issues that they see of destruction and that come with running an exhibit like this. We've also done a very cool application that I'd like to share with you guys that you can actually view on your phone as well. And this is something we created at Maggi Chapel in Florence. It's a interactive 360 image where you stand in the middle of the chapel and you're able to look around and interact with the different pieces on the wall by using your gaze. So looking at one of these crosshairs you see in the red and having that piece pop out and then getting a verbal explanation as to the historical significance of what's going on in that piece. Next one, and this one was another one created with our partner in Saudi Arabia. This is created for a customer, Kenon. It's another mixed reality application that allows users to see some prospective homes or apartments in both virtual reality and augmented reality. So at a high level, you're able to see in AR the layout of the building or the specific apartment. And then from there, you're able to actually step inside of the apartment. And this was something that, improved their sales and their ability to kind of explain in a better presentation what these apartments looked like and how they could be customized instead of just having a model home. Before these things were even built, pre-construction, they could have people purchasing these homes from around the world. So I want to just stop there quickly and I want to end with just a quick video of where EON is moving as a company with a lot of these types of application. And while this video doesn't specifically hone in on tourism, I think it will give you a good idea of the potential of these types of technologies. And I'll preface this with everything in this video that you'll see is ready to be done today, and with the exception of the headsets. You'll see kind of a representation of what the headsets will look like without picking a certain company, because we work with a number of different companies.
Oh, we're getting a heat signature from the first floor. Yeah, got it. You found someone.
You've got a flashover at level 3, guys. Evacuate immediately to rally point.
Like you can see on the screen, this is the meeting room, and this is the lobby, which is over there.
Hey Sam, do you think we can have these 3 outlets done by tomorrow?
Hey Sue,
Hi, boss.
can you please run a quick inspection of checkpoint 48? I'm getting some inconsistent readings over here.
Let me have a look. I can see an open vault there.
All right, that's great. Thanks.
So with that, I will end this tourism webinar. And if anybody has any further questions, comments, requests for more information, this presentation, just let me know. My email is rick@eonreality.com, or you can contact, as you see on the screen here, sales@eonreality.com, and we will get back to you with your request. I hope you enjoyed this webinar, and we will hopefully talk to you very soon. Thank you.